Hello, everybody, and welcome to our fourth and final musical journey through Queens, presented by the Kupferberg Center for the Arts at Queens College. My name is Carlos Cuestas, an associate here at Kupferberg Center, and I am really excited to introduce today's performance of the Music of Mexico, featuring the Villalobos Brothers. I hope you have been enjoying all of our concerts, visual arts presentations, and conversations with writers. Knowing that you tune into our shows really helps us getting through these difficult times, though we can't wait to see you in person as soon as it is all safe. Our musical journey through Queens and all of our spring programming is part of Kupferberg Center's 2020-2021 season, proudly brought to you by our lead sponsor, the New York Community Bank, with additional support from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Resorts World Casinos, and the Max and Selma Kupferberg Family Foundation. We thank our sponsors and we thank you, because without you, we wouldn't be able to bring any of these talented artists on the screen. Today we bring you the Villalobos Brothers, sharing with us a taste of Mexico's music. The Villalobos Brothers have been acclaimed as one of today's leading contemporary Mexican ensembles. The original compositions and arrangements masterfully fuse and celebrate the richness of Mexican folk music with jazz and classical music as well. The ensemble's virtuosic performances have delighted audiences in Latin America, India, Russia, Canada, and in more than 30 states across the US. They have performed in historic venues and events including Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, the Latin Grammy Awards, among many, many others. The Villalobos Brothers are actively touring the United States, delivering a powerful message of love, brotherhood, and social justice with brilliance, cadence, and virtuosity. Now, if you ever wanted to ask the brothers any questions, here's your chance, because after this show, they will be taking questions from the audience, so stay tuned and feel free to speak your mind on the comments section on Facebook or YouTube. Finally, don't forget to visit our website, www.kupferbergcenter.org, or our social media channels to find out about the rest of our spring programming. We thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hola amigos, ¿cómo estamos? Aquí saludándolos los hermanos Villalobos. Yo soy Beto, mi hermano Wes, mi hermano Nes. Muy contentos de tener un COVID test negativo y poder juntarnos a hacer música. Really happy to be with my brothers without masks. We just got tested and we are negative, so we are really happy to be able to get together and share
and jam
for this concert. So thank you for the invitation. Thank you to our dear friend Dan Zanes that puts us in touch with this beautiful project.
And we've been following you, Dan. We've been following the music series that you have with Claudia.
It's beautiful,
amazing. It's
beautiful
incredible.
project that you guys are.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful and very, very inspiring to see you guys and to see all the songs. And we've learned so many new songs.
So
what song are we doing, Beto?
We're doing La Guacamaya, a song jarocho, really traditional, usually danced only by women. This is a beautiful...
and it translates as what?
The macaw.
The macaw.
The bird. I had the pleasure, really, of visiting the state of Chiapas in the southernmost state of Mexico, and I saw a crater, a volcano crater, where the macaws nest. They love it down there because it's warm and it's safe. So they nest on the walls of the crater, and early in the morning they all spiral out of the crater and fly into the sky, and it's such a sight because it's colorful and you see all the red birds flying into the sky.
Yeah. So the chorus of this song is actually that. Vuela, 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 vuela te lo pido, ven y pinta de colores mi cielo descolorido.
And if you guys are following us at home, for the digital concert, you can join. You can definitely join. Every chorus says vuela, vuela, vuela 3 times. We sing that, and then you are supposed to respond vuela. You can just yell it, and you can join us for that part. And I think Beto, you're looking pretty much like a macaw.
Yeah, right.
You got the colors. You got the colors right.
Colorful Beto.
It's pretty macawish.
Yeah, they usually go green, red, blue, yellow. Yeah. But unfortunately, due to illegal hunting, they're in danger, and sometimes not as people hunt them and people cage them.
So I think we should introduce macaws into New York City. Wouldn't that be a sight?
Instead of pigeons, right?
Hey, instead of rats, I'll take
Instead of
anything
rats.
instead of the rats. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
La guacamaya.
La guacamaya.
Vámonos.
Pobrecita guacamaya, y ay, qué lástima me das, y ay, qué lástima me das, pobrecita guacamaya.
Pobrecita guacamaya, y ay, qué lástima me das. Ay, qué lástima me das, pobrecita guacamaya.
Se acabaron las pitayas, y ahora sí que comerás, pobrecita guacamaya, y ay, qué lástima me das.
Se acabaron las pitayas y ahora sí que comerás. Pobrecita guacamaya, y qué lástima me das. Ay,
Vuela, 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 vuela te lo pido, de mi pinta de colores, mi cielo descolorido. Vuela, 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 vuela te lo pido, de mi pinta de colores, mi cielo descolorido.
Hello friends, my name is Beto Villalobos. I hope you guys enjoy these first songs. And we would like to introduce you to very dear friends, Don Ramon Ponce and Ramon Ponce Jr. from Queens, New York, originally from Mexico, but they've been living here for 30 years. And when Dan Zanes invited us to participate in this series, we immediately thought about our connection with
the Ponce family in Queens. So these two friends have been playing with us for many, many years, and they have been carrying the legacy of the mariachi music tradition in New York City. They are founder members of the Mariachi Real de Mexico, and it's our pleasure to collaborate with them in many projects along the years, including our first album. So please welcome this dear friend Don Ramon as Nes pays a visit to his home and honors the memory of his late wife Guillermina. Enjoy.
Pues sí, Rey. Entonces, 30 años, este año cumplen 30 años.
Sí, este año cumplimos 30 años con el mariachi.
Wow.
Entonces, justo estábamos platicando con mi papá hace unos días de que, así como que cerramos los ojos y de repente los abrimos y ya pasaron 30 años, ¿no? Tenía 16 años cuando empezamos con el mariachi. Y mi papá ahorita va a cumplir 80, entonces imagínate.
Wow.
Toda la vida, bueno, toda mi vida más bien.
Claro.
Pero sí, estaba padre porque de repente estaban todos en pam, 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 y le sale un mariachi a la medianoche como que ¡Viva México! Sí, hemos sido muy, pues yo creo que bendecidos, ¿verdad? Porque desde Letterman, con Conan O'Brien y pasando por todos los demás, ¿verdad? Y desde el New York Times, el Daily News, el Wall Street Journal, y Televisa, y Univision, y Telemundo, y todos han hablado de nuestro trabajo. Que yo, ahorita que estoy haciendo la recopilación de cosas de 30 años, a veces yo mismo me quedo así como que, en serio, así como que, es for real, o sea, porque uno cuando empieza, y tú sabes, cuando uno empieza a tocar, pues lo haces siempre lo hemos hecho por amor, siempre, hasta ahora, ¿no? Pero en el momento que uno empieza a hacer las cosas, no lo haces como que, pues es que voy a tocar en Carnegie Hall, o para Oscar de la Renta, y con Plácido Domingo, ¿no? En Constitution Hall. O sea, uno no lo piensa, ¿verdad? Uno solamente lo hace.
Lo hace, claro.
¿Verdad? Pero lo haces con ganas, ¿verdad? Con amor, es que no hay otra palabra más.
Claro. Esas enchiladas.
Al estilo
se ven
Jalapa.
buenísimas. Wow.
La picosita.
Sí. Pues la siguiente canción que queremos compartir con ustedes, otro sonecito, se llama El Colás. Esta canción, pues crecimos escuchándola, hace mucho tiempo que no la visitamos, y es una canción pues muy alegre, de los sones jarochos tal vez más alegres. Está también un poco distinta, ¿no? Porque está en 2/4, no está en 6/8, entonces es un poquito diferente.
It's also not really clear, you know, like the character, you know, the la persona, Nicolás. You know?
Right.
To me, it's just like the adventures. It's like maybe like a Mexican Quixote of sorts. Like, who is Nicolás? Do you know who exactly is Nicolás? It could be like any man.
I have so many Nicoláses in my life that it could be
Yeah.
anyone. But
There is always new verses for Nicolás, no?
Yeah, well, it's you know, like any other folk tune that is really popular in Mexico. You ask any jaranero, play colás, and everybody knows el colás because it's everybody knows el colás. It's probably one of the first tunes you learn. Also, if you learn.
But we also chose this song because I don't know if you guys remember, but when we were recording our first album with Dan Zanes, Dan actually asked us to join him in singing the Colás. And he has an incredible version of the Colás in his album Nueva York.
Check it out.
So this is a favorite of Dan, and of course a favorite of ours as well. I also have to say I have updated the lyrics of this song to reflect a little more of the immigrant nature of the city. You know, so I'm going to be sharing some of the new verses that I came up with for Colás.
Yeah, to reflect something more more current. You know? Something more current. Okay.
It's also been a while. I want to say it's been a while since we played together at all because you were in Spain for a long time. And after the pandemic hit, and then we haven't really seen each other. We've changed files and we've done a few virtual concerts, but not like this. Like
it's very nice to be able to.
This is a gift. This is really a gift. Yeah.
So again, we're here in New York, and after long months of the middle of the winter and in the middle of the pandemic, but we were finally
next step is to be back with you guys. You know?
Yeah,
an audience. That's next.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah,
For sure. For
sure.
Vámonos con Nicolás.
Échale besito.
is called Son de Arena, and it acknowledges and honors the dangerous but necessary journey that immigrants take when coming to the United States and also when going from Africa to Europe. Enjoy.
El desierto, voy en un viaje mortal, aunque me digan maldito ilegal, lucharé por lo que sé que es cierto, que los seres humanos somos todos iguales y que yo soy tu hermano, aunque tú me apuñales. Dicen que no tengo motivos ni problemas, que la pobreza es algo opcional. Dicen que soy sucio, pero mi piel morena es el emblema de mi libertad. Voy a cruzar por Melilla, voy a esa reja fatal. Aunque me hieran con porra y metal, cruzaré, no tengo otra salida. O me muero de hambre, o me juego la vida, o me enfrento a la guerra, o a una tierra prohibida. Dicen que soy negro, que soy un delincuente, que solo vengo a causarte mal. Dicen que soy malo porque soy diferente, que no merezco el agua ni el pan. verdad. Poco me importa que me miren mal. La opinión nunca fue mi sustento. Si en este momento sientes que hablo contigo, súbate a mi lamento, deja de ser testigo. Deja que te cante esta melodía urgente, pues muchos mueren buscando igualdad. Somos inmigrantes, pero antes somos gente que solo quiere oportunidad.
Dear friends, thank you so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed the concert. Please follow us online. Villalobosbrothers.com is our website. Hermanos Villalobos is our website. Esperamos que les haya gustado el concierto. Muchas gracias por sintonizar. And we hope to see you back on tour very soon as we start touring in the summer. Esperamos verlos muy pronto en persona. And we love you, we hug you in the distance. Take care of yourselves and see you guys soon. Hasta pronto, amigos. Mucho gusto y esperamos verlos pronto. Saludos.
Mujer, qué bella te ves, perfumada de gardenias, perfumada de gardenias, mujer, qué bella te ves. Esos tus ojos cafés y tus labios de canela, tus labios de canela que anhelo besar después. De todos los colores me gusta el tuyo, porque tú resplandeces bien de mi vida como el orgullo. Somos maderos que arden en el centro de una hoguera, en el centro de una hoguera, somos maderos que arden. Con la pasión fulgurante de tu amor en luna llena, un astro brillante que alumbra mi noche entera. Eres mi prenda querida, como te lo estoy cantando. Nos dejaremos de ver, pero de querernos cuando. Eres libre de volar, pajarita vuela, vuela, pajarita vuela, vuela, y eres libre de volar. Y a mí me enseñó a trobar la guitarra de mi abuela, pajarita vuela, vuela, si no me sabes amar. Y eres mi prenda querida, como te lo dije ayer, eres aquella paloma que canta al amanecer.
thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in person very, very soon. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in. Hasta la próxima.
Hey guys, what a lovely, lovely show. We had a wonderful time listening to the Villalobos Brothers. Dan and Claudia Zanes are here with us. How are you guys doing? Well, while you guys get your audio back, we're going to invite the Villalobos Brothers themselves onto the studio. So yeah, let's bring them in. Hey, Beto, Ernesto, Luis, how are you guys doing?
¿Qué tal, Carlos?
¿Qué
How's
tal? ¿Cómo
everyone doing?
estás? Muchas gracias por esa música tan linda.
Gracias a ustedes.
Sí, por supuesto. Yeah, Dan and Claudia, I think they are having some sound issues, but we'll wait for them in the meantime. So, sí, muchísimas gracias. Invitamos a todas las personas que nos están escuchando a que participen en el chat. You guys can participate on the chat on YouTube or Facebook. Just ask any questions you guys want for the band, Spanish or English. We can do them both. So don't be shy. And yeah, it's great to see you guys. So I kind of just want to start us off while we get Dan and Claudia back in the studio with some questions to talk to your audience, and thanking you very much for your work. And it's such a commitment with the Mexican and sort of like Latinx community, migrant community that we're all part of. I happen to be a part of it as well. So I wanted to ask you guys if what are some responsibilities you feel like when you're representing Mexican culture in the U.S. Like what is the weight that you feel on your shoulders when you pick up your instruments, when you go around the world representing it?
I think in a way to break down the long established cliches, about what it means to be Mexican, what it means to be Latino, and I think we can take the first step also, in bringing people together, really beyond race, really beyond nationalities, really beyond religions. Like why not? Why cannot be we, the Latino people, the Mexican people? We are as warm and as welcoming as any other human being in the planet, and I think that's something that we like to do, and I think music is the language to do that. Music is the right means to do that, and that's something that we always try to do on the stage. We always try to deliver that message either with words or simply just by the influence, by the magic spell of music and what happens in a live concert. In a digital concert is a little bit more difficult. This is the new reality that we're hoping to overcome very, very soon. We miss being able to be there directly, because I do feel that when we are in a live environment, people are touched. People are touched by the vibration of music. They come after, and they realize, that maybe we are incredibly different on the exterior, but that music touched them, like here the same way it touches any of us, and that's the magic, and that's the responsibility that I think me and my brothers we feel as artists, not only as musicians.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Very well said. I don't know if Ernesto or Alberto want to add to what Luis just shared with us.
Well, if I may, I think in such a divided environment as we are right now, as a nation, maybe as a world even, really our responsibility rests in being human beings of excellence, of just really being the best version of yourself that you can be, and just let your expression of that divinity almost, permeate the audience and let them come to that light that you may be projecting outwards, and to that luminosity that is coming from the stage. We are not necessarily trying to make our audience in all these states that we visit. We may visit some very, very conservative states. Mm-hmm. And our mission there is really just to share our music and be ambassadors of the most excellent version of ourselves that we can be, and really attract people and try and change hearts and minds, but not in a direct confrontational way, but really rather as a cultural ambassador, as a musical ambassador. I think that's right now our focus. Just to be musicians that go and do that role in all the communities that we are fortunate to touch through our music.
I mean, what better way, right, than to use music for that? I think we have Dan and Claudia back, by the way. So let's welcome them back to our virtual studio. Hey, there you guys are.
Wow, that was an incredible show, you guys.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you. I have to ask, is it as fun being a Villalobos Brothers as it looks? Because y'all
Beto, we're gonna take Beto.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for making this possible. Thank you, Carlitos. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Claudia. You guys don't know this, but my brother Luis and I played for Dan and Claudia's engagement. It wasn't even a party. It was like playing on the street. Oh, they were right
there. You brought receipts.
And let me tell you, it was such a magical moment that I will never forget it, because I remember being with Dan on tour for many years, and you're a very cool guy, Dan, but you were so nervous. It was the first time in my life that I remember actually perceiving that nervousness. And I think what you were talking about, Claudia, is we love each other. That's the truth. We are very different. We have different personalities, my brothers and I, but the backbone, the main el tronco, how do you say, the main
root, maybe
the root, yeah, it's love. We grew up as a very close-knit tree, a close-knit circle, almost a bubble, until we were maybe like 12 or 13, that we started going into public school because we were homeschooled. And maybe that's what you notice. We are close, and now we live in different realities. We still tour. Well, not the last year, but we are very close, and we have similar values, core values, and I think that's what reflects. We might be very different in personalities, but we definitely love each other, and we love you guys. And
well, I want to briefly interject, because we have some fan commentary, by the way, on the comments. But I do want to bring one of your biggest fans, I would suppose, Miss Margarita Villalobos. Says something along the lines of "Muchas felicidades, mis amores, bien logrado, lobito." Do you have anything to say to Doña Margarita?
Oye, te queremos muchísimo, te amamos, mamita.
That's lovely.
Our biggest fan, always.
Our biggest fan from Veracruz, Mexico. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think whatever we have accomplished, we really owe to Mom. Te lo debemos este momento, mamita. Hasta donde hemos llegado, te lo debemos todo. And we were really blessed, to count with the vision. The vision, that's what my mother had: vision, love, and determination. And an amazing triangle happened between my mother, the three brothers, we were very, very little when we started with music, and our first violin professor, Professor Carlos Marrufo. And that triangle really ended up, shaping our lives as musicians, as artists, because he was a professional violinist. He spent many, many years in Europe. He had the discipline and the vision, to teach classical music. And my mother, she wanted the best. She wanted the best teacher for us when we were very, very little. And of course, he rejected the idea of teaching kids, you know, like, no, I don't work with little kids. I work just with, you know, professional musicians already. And he had this fame of being very, very strict and, you know, very demanding. But of course, that's what mom wanted. And it ended up developing into almost like he's our musical father. You know, he taught us many times for free, many extra lessons at his home for free. And mom was there with the vision, with the love to support always that. And eventually, I think thanks to that combination, we were able to, you know, to go abroad and then be able to spread music and the message that we want to, you know, become truly musicians. So very, very lucky. I think we're very, very lucky, and we're very grateful to those figures that made it possible.
That's beautiful, because I know I've met your mom many times, and I could see right away how much she loved you and cared for you. And it's such a reminder that, you know, none of us can do this on our own. We need support. We need the community and the family around us. So it's beautiful to hear you say that. I think that's an important message for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
message,
Go on.
you know, just thinking about how parents, how family members can really support those who have the vision to pursue the arts, because oftentimes, you know, of Haitian descent, coming from Haiti, you know, my family was always about, you know, doctor, lawyer, engineer. That was, but really when you have, you know, family that can see the vision and really help nourish you to get there, it's such a beautiful thing, which we can see in you all.
Yeah. And it's a true testament that it definitely does take a village, but that saying loses its meaning when there is no village, right? And we unfortunately are going through the dismantling of villages, as it were. But not to go there, I do want to bring one question from the audience. Alberto Jimenez from Jalapa, Veracruz, indeed, has an interesting question. Alberto is a musician himself. He has performed for the Copper Center for the Arts last summer, and he asks, in my experience performing with you guys, I always noticed a warm welcome at every stage. Did you have a different experience with audiences? Maybe a cold audience, and maybe how do you get them going? I don't know if you guys want to share something like that. I guess that includes you, Dan and Claudia, as well.
That's a good question, Beto. And of course, hello, you know, from Brooklyn. We miss you. Beto lived here in New York for many years, and because of the pandemic, I think, you know, he made the choice to go back to Jalapa. But you know, I think it's a choice that many of us are right now starting to make. But I think in all our tours, sometimes, you know, the audience is very, very warm and receptive, and sometimes you notice a certain awkwardness. You know, it's maybe the first time that they're being exposed to Mexican musicians playing music that sounds like this. Maybe they were expecting a mariachi show, and instead, you know, these three brothers playing violin with a rhythm section behind them is blowing their minds. There's always a little bit of exchange, an initial exchange of energies that happens especially when you go, you know, and you're performing in the middle of Wyoming, you know, or in the middle of Alaska, you know, like all these places that have never experienced anything like what we have to offer, you know. So I wouldn't say cold, just different, you know. Every group of people, when you first kind of introduce yourself and start playing, has a different way of welcoming you. And you know, I'll never forget the first time that we played our first show ever in India, and people were immediately yelling and screaming at us, and it felt like a rock show, even though we were in a university auditorium. It was an amazing projection of energy, and it was different but similar in Vermont. Our first show for a farmer's market there, it took them a while, but you know, after maybe the first 15 minutes, you started seeing the first people getting up and dancing and circling around, and you know, started approaching the stage. So I think it's just it's human nature to respond to music, to respond to rhythms, and I guess where it gets tricky sometimes is when we overtly say, okay, the next song is going to be political. The next song is, you know, talks about police brutality, or the next song talks about immigrants' rights. In those cases, we did have some members of the audience just straight out walk out from the theater, and that's okay, because the people who choose to stay, the people who choose to listen to the songs, those people become our fans for life. You know, they establish a connection with not only our music but also our message. So I think it's important to open that space.
Yes,
definitely. Yeah, and we keep welcoming our audiences for questions, and again, you can do it in both Spanish or English if you guys have anything that you guys want to bring up to the Villalobos Brothers or Dan and Claudia Zanes. And I don't know, Dan and Claudia, if you have some questions for the Villalobos Brothers, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, we have questions. We just want to hang out and talk for the next few hours.
So, Dan, do you remember New Year's 2011 or 12? We were still in our house in the Bronx, in Marble Hill, and all of a sudden, in comes Dan Zanes.
in full performing costume, the whole suit.
Dan has said that you all throw like impeccable parties. I look forward when again, but I
well,
it's amazing.
Oh man, those days.
And you know what? You know, speaking of community, what I think I appreciate about the parties that I've been to of yours, and just about the way that you know, when you came into New York, is that you knew so many people in so many different communities. And for example, when I met you, you had a regular show at a synagogue.
Still do.
You still do?
Yeah.
Your world was multicultural before we were really even saying that word, the way we do today. But you made it feel as though music, because I was thinking this when I was watching. I said, if I was 7 years old and I was watching this video that you made for us today, which is such a generous video, and we appreciate you so much closing out our series like this for the Kupferberg. If I was 7 years old and I was watching it, I would want to play an instrument, That's what I want to do. And so I feel like music for me, and I know, for Claudia too, music was the way we entered the world. That's how we made our road into life. And it seems like that's how you made your road into life, but also into New York City. What was the plan when you came up here? Was it, world domination?
World domination by party.
He's posting, and we're going to start getting some questions from the audience about addresses and whatnot. So,
yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We'll start doing the same as House of Yes, which now asks that you subscribe to their Patreon before they give you the address of the next party. But I think, speaking to what you were mentioning about community and about bringing everybody together, that house in Marble Hill, which now is about to be demolished and turned into some fancy apartment building, represents, I think, almost like a spiritual house for all of us. It's not about a physical building, but it's always been about the collection of people that you choose as to build your family with, and for all of us, I think that's a very, very difficult choice, because life in New York is very demanding, and our demands on time are multiple, so we have a lot of things that we need to get done, and at the end of the day, we have maybe a couple hours to spend time with somebody. So, when we choose our friends, I think for me at least, it's always about, okay, other people who are going to inspire me to continue creating, to stay active in what I do, to bring out an instrument. No, I don't necessarily want to be talking about, oh, you know, what TV show were you watching, or what series? You know what I mean? I want to be thinking, oh, you know, I went to this exhibit in this gallery and I met this person. That's why we live in a city like New York. You know, you don't come to New York to sit on your sofa and watch TV.
I think we should
for sofas.
I think we should clarify to the rest of the audience, because Dan has obviously been to the house, and I mean, for us, it's part of our lives. But the Marble Hill house that Ness is talking about is the first place where we, as brothers, we occupied in New York, and it was a very, very old house that was almost falling apart, and nobody wanted to take because it needed so much work, and we took it upon ourselves to bring it back to life, you know, with a lot of color, with a lot of music, and many people, mostly artists, passed through that house and stayed there with us and made their lives and became part of our social circle. You know, many lifelong friends passed there, and that's where the group started also. Like Dan was mentioning, you know, the New York domination, world conquering through music and parties. It was, like Ness was saying, definitely a very spiritual, very important space for all of us. But it was an artist community. It was a very unique space in New York, because it's difficult to find such a space where poets, you know, and dancers and musicians and philosophers came together, and where people from almost every country. I remember the first parties, you know, we were amazed to see the diversity of people who just wanted to be part, just wanted to belong to that reality, you know, to say, hey, you know, we are all coming together for this moment. That was beautiful, and we were lucky enough to extend that run for 10 years.
15 years.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me just bring one comment from Jalapa as well, by the way. This is very interesting. Doña Eloísa Almazán Navarro.
La maestra Eloísa.
La
claro.
maestra Eloísa dice, muchas felicidades a los hermanos Villalobos, grandes artistas, ponen en alto el nombre de México y del estado de Veracruz. Felicidades, chicos. Así que mándenle saludos a doña Eloísa, ¿no?
Muchas gracias, maestra. Un abrazo. Muchas gracias.
So I want to clarify the titos, you know, because when she met us, I was Ernestito, and then Alberto became Albertito, and then Luis became Luisito. So to many people in Jalapa, they know us as Los Titos, you know, because it's like the three of us.
Just three little
children
kids
running around in the music conservatory, which was definitely not a place for children at the time, you know. La maestra Eloísa was always a very generous presence, you know, a teacher, an educator herself, and her son Enrique Marquez was my classmate, and we used to play as part of the quartet, you know, and then, you know, he went on to Harvard actually, and I came to New York City. But yeah, he's definitely still a very good friend, and we keep you in our hearts. Están en nuestros corazones, maestra. Muchas gracias por sintonizar.
That's beautiful. And I think we have time for one more question, Dan and Claudia. If you guys want to, I don't know, put the Villalobos Brothers to the test or something.
Well, I just want to say too, Luis, that beautiful video that you shared at the end. And yes. I really appreciate how you guys speak to the immigrant experience. You know, my family came to this country from Haiti, and so it really touched my heart. Thank you so much for that.
No, absolutely. Claudia, it's our joy, and it's also our reality. You know, Beto has luckily already, you know, after many years of the immigration journey, he's a dual citizen. But for Ness and me, you know, it's been 15 years of still, you know, trying to figure out the way and with all the paperwork necessary. So we know, even though we have had such a very difficult journey towards, for example, becoming citizen here, that we are the lucky ones. You know, we know that we are the lucky ones. We're very grateful of the opportunities that we have had. So of course
but also your song,
you know?
Your song, Luis, you know, it talks about the African experience coming into Spain, right? And of course,
yeah, precisely. You know, like I feel that we are very lucky, and again, I feel it as our responsibility to shed light on the realities of millions other people that are really facing war or are really facing extreme situations of poverty. And as long as those realities exist, immigration will be necessary, will be the only option, for many people. So it takes incredible courage for many people to make those decisions, to say, I'll do anything for my family, I'll do anything to improve the conditions that I have, and that they take enormous risks to try to make that happen. Sometimes years and years. We have plenty of friends. I think all of us in this chat, we have plenty of friends that we know are right now in the United States that have not seen family for years. They cannot travel. And when I was in Spain, I realized that it was just a different shape, of the same reality for immigrants, mostly coming from Africa, trying to make a living in Europe. So that song is just to try to shed light on that reality, not to forget, to keep it present, and to at the same time being grateful and try to do something, try to make people think about it, not forget about it, and slowly create that change.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you again, thank you all for being so generous with your time today, and also just with your music, which is how I've known you. And I'll just, I'll share this with people too. This is my introduction to working with the Villalobos Brothers. Was I think it was 10 hours we spent in the middle of summer. It had to be at least 95 degrees in the basement where we were recording, and we were recording Colas.
I remember that.
And then after, and I was saying, okay, and I'm going to give you some money now. And Ernesto was saying, no, this is, we're here for the music. And so we all went out for a big meal.
How else can you expect to play and record in a 90-degree basement if not with a good meal? So we want to thank you, the Villalobos Brothers. Muchísimas gracias por venir, a la gente que estuvo aquí con nosotros en Copperberg Center también. Thank you very much for tuning in. Dan and Claudia, what a beautiful introduction to the world and Queens and what it means for us. And so everyone at home, please stay tuned at copperbergcenter.org for our upcoming shows, and we're going to have a very, very important summer festival. Not more than important, it's very exciting. And I don't know if you guys want to share Villalobos Brothers, like the best way to reach you through social media and your website as well.
Yeah, of course. Villalobosbrothers.com is our website. Facebook.com/Villalobos Brothers, and our handle on Instagram is Villalobos_brothers. So please find us. We stay active. It's probably the best way these days to keep up with what we're doing. And thank you again to the Copper Center, to Carlos Cuestas, to Dan and Claudia. Thank you so much for the invitation, and it's been our pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
Muchas gracias, Dan. Saludos a todos. Gracias.
Ciao.
That was so nice.